When Fox 24 revamped its 10 o'clock news this past January, they brought on a new anchor, Leyla Gulen. She's from California and has lots of experience in radio and television. In this special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with her, one-on-one. Leyla, it's so good to see you.
So good to see you, Quintin.
I really appreciate this.
Thank you, me too.
You know, the last time I saw you was when I got back from doing an interview and I was walking down King Street. And ironically, it was a little hot there on that particular day. Since then, how are you?
Doing great. I remember that day.
Yes.
Yeah, my photographer and I, we were running into Prohibition Restaurant. We were actually doing an interview over there because they're going to do a fun dancing event that's coming up. So that's going to be one of our upcoming stories.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I want to take it back to July 1st.
Okay.
Fox 24 said this on Twitter, quote, "Congratulations at Leyla Gulen, Fox 24, on being a hashtag Charleston's Best Finalist Local Television Personality." Obviously, it's for the new Post and Corey Awards.
Right.
You actually said this, quote, "It's an honor to be named among such an esteemed group of people. Good luck, everyone. Hashtag feeling love." What is it like to be Leyla Gulen these days?
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, first of all, I mean, what a huge honor to be part of that list. I mean, you know, some of my very esteemed colleagues that are sitting in this very room with us were also named. So we're rooting for each other. But oh goodness, what is it like to be me? I don't know. I come into work and, you know, it's a lot of work. I'm trying to incorporate a little bit more play, which is something that you and I were talking about.
Exactly.
Which, you know, it's hard. It's hard to get out of that mode of where you're just so focused and trying to get things done all the time. That's kind of what it is like for me right now. But, you know, I do try to enjoy Charleston and the Low Country as much as I possibly can. And part of that is going to the beach and just enjoying the beauty here, just the natural beauty, not to mention, you know, all the fun places to go to.
Yes, indeed.
But yeah, I since coming to Charleston, I do feel just kind of this sense of like the roots are, you know, kind of being planted a little bit more and feeling kind of at ease.
Yes.
It's just a nice feeling.
And you know, I dug this up somewhere, but it says this, quote, "Hi, my name is Leyla. For more than a decade, I have worked in the news industry, both on and off the air. I love telling stories, and I do it every day. It's through compelling language and tone that a good story is told. People respond to what emotionally captures them. I deliver the news to thousands of households every night, and I know my every utterance is what keeps them connected." Tell me, what's the biggest difference between when you started in the news business and right now?
Oh gosh. Well, when I first started in the news business, I was in radio, actually. So when I graduated from college and I got my first job in radio, it was just learning the ropes. You know, I was kind of thrust into a place where I was working with veterans who were in the business. And, you know, I learned so much from them, which to this day, there were lessons that I learned that I still implement and that I also try to impart on some of my younger colleagues who are just getting into the business themselves. And, you know, you have a responsibility where it's true, every utterance that you do make, I mean, it's going to be seen, it's going to be heard. And exactly. And you want to make sure that you do it with the utmost respect and with as much research behind it, you know, that you know what you're talking about. And it's a great responsibility, but it gets a little bit easier as time goes on, of course.
December 23rd. You said the following on Twitter, quote, "I am so very excited to join the Fox 24 News in 2016. Tell me why Leyla Gulen, why Fox 24?
Well, it was just a wonderful opportunity that came my way, and I had heard about Charleston, and I had visited once, and really fell in love with the place and the people because, you know, that matters so much when you're making your moves from market to market, and in this business, that's what you do. You especially in your formative years, you're always moving from city to city to city. So you're kind of a carpetbagger. But Charleston just always had that charm and something about it. There was just something in the air that, you know, so wonderful. And this opportunity came about, and, you know, you just have to take your opportunities when they arise.
Yes, indeed. Describe to me the following one word, as you mentioned earlier, radio, KFWB.
Oh, yes. Okay. So KFWB is a Los Angeles radio station.
Yes.
It was the Dodger station for many, many, many years. The sister station to a previous newsroom where I worked, which is KNX. They're the official CBS News radio station in Los Angeles. And so I made the change from being a producer over at KNX to being an editor at KFWB. And that's where I really feel like I got a lot of my news chops, because you're responsible for building newscasts,
Right.
you're responsible for producing, you're responsible for writing, assigning stories. I mean, it's any number of things, and big responsibility, but a lot of fun. And in radio, it never stops.
Right.
You know, it's just, it goes and goes and goes and goes. And it was also a medium that was changing a lot too, you know. So I just feel very fortunate that I was able to be a part of it.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
KCBS-TV.
Yes, yeah. KCBS was my wonderful godsend foray into television. And again, opportunities as they, you know, come up. I auditioned for their traffic position. I had not had any TV experience before that, and I said, you know, please just give me a chance. And you know, my news director at the time, he said, well, if you mess up, we'll have given you the chance, but no more.
Yes.
And if you actually do well, we'll bring you back. And so I will just never forget my very first day on the air. And the studio, I mean, some say that the studio is quite cold.
Yes.
Well, it was a meat locker back in LA. It's freezing cold, but
Yes.
I still remember the sweat dripping down my back because I was so nervous, you know,
Right.
being on TV for the first time. But no, I never went back. I loved it so much and felt like it was something that I could really build up and build towards.
Speaking of LA, it's your hometown.
Indeed it is, yes.
When you think of LA, what goes to your mind?
Oh, big. That's the first thing that I think of. Los Angeles is a huge, huge place.
Yes.
Of course, family.
Yes.
That's where my family is. And Los Angeles is where I was born and raised. And, you know, you get used to a place. But I think I've missed out on feeling close to my community and, you know, knowing neighbors if I see them walking down the street, you know, waving hi.
Yeah.
Things like you see here,
Yeah,
you know, you
right.
could be driving down a stranger's street and they'll still wave to you.
Right.
And I just love that, and I hope that never changes. But Charleston, it feels like a very kind of city that you really can get your hands wrapped around.
Yeah.
Los Angeles is incredibly dynamic.
Yes.
I mean, there's just always something going on, so much happening there.
And the beaches.
And the beaches, we've got beaches there too, although the water is freezing. Yeah.
I hate winter.
I know, it's always winter in the water there. And that's why I love coming out here,
Oh,
because
good.
it's, you know, 70, 80
Right.
degrees. It's like a bath. I
Right.
just love it.
Yes.
But yes, Los Angeles is where I got my start in everything, basically, and I loved it.
Speaking of which, the University of Southern California.
Yes, I know, the other USC.
That's right.
USC of the West.
Yes.
Yeah, USC was a wonderful place to go to school.
Yeah.
I went into college a little bit on the later side. I was originally thinking that I was going to be a professional ballet dancer.
Oh.
So I, you know, was spending some time in New York, and then decided I'll come back and go to school. Went to community college just to kind of get back into the swing of
Right.
going to school, and then transferred. And I just, at that time, I knew that I wanted to be a journalist. I majored in print journalism.
Yes.
And that was rough because it was a time when things were really changing for the print medium.
Yeah.
But it still gave me a really good foundation on how to report and writing and things like that. So that being a Trojan is
Yes.
source of pride for me. Yes.
There you go. You like that.
Absolutely.
Speaking of the ballerina,
Yes.
I read on Channel 4's website, it says this quote: "For nearly 20 years, she was a ballet dancer, having training at a prestigious School of American Ballet in New York City. Before becoming accepted into the yearly program at 16, Leyla trained at other intensive ballet programs, including the Jeffrey Ballet, the San Francisco Ballet, and the Rock School of Pennsylvania Ballet. You were accepted at the yearly program at the age of 16. I'm wondering, when did the ballerina bug bite you?
Oh, it bit me a long time before that. And actually, it was really my mother who, she couldn't take me running around aimlessly the house anymore. So she said, oh God, I have to find something constructive to put this child in. And when I was 4 years old is when I took my very first ballet class.
Wow.
And so my mother and my father fostered my continuing on with dancing, and were my biggest supports. They're the ones that I credit with where I am today, certainly, but of course through the ballet it was a huge sacrifice for them. It is a big sacrifice.
Yes.
And but they were always the ones pushing me and wanting to see me succeed and have all the opportunities. So it brought me to New York, which was a very exciting time, and so I lived there for a few years.
Yes.
And then just had an experience that I would never exchange for anything in the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have obviously conquered LA, San Francisco, traffic anchoring and reporting, ballerina. I know you love to travel and you love to eat.
Yes.
But what's next for Leyla Gulen?
Oh God, that's such a good question. That's a wonderful question. I think, and it's a very difficult question to answer because you just don't know what life will bring you.
Right.
I think, I really enjoy what I'm doing here, and I enjoy the process of really refining what I'm doing here. And I think until I've fully mastered that, then I could probably think of another step. But I'm still kind of in that stage where I really want to hone my craft
Exactly.
as much as possible.
There you go. I love that. Well, Leyla Gulen, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
Thank you so much, Quintin. And I
Anytime.
feel like this is a rite of passage and such an honor to be interviewed by you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right.